Welcome to today's program. Top of the day to you. From wherever you are watching or listening, depending on the platform you are using. This is Voters Forum. I'm Wale Ogwade, your host on this program. It's a bright Saturday morning in Lagos. I don't know what it is in your area, but be that as it may, I wish you all the best today. And as we roll into the Christmas season, I pray that indeed it's going to be a joyous moment for all of us. Talking about joyous, we have a very interesting topic today. It's called the politics of tax reform. Those of us who are in the public space have been following events, how the political class and some who are involved have been battering against and for this new tax regime that the government wants to introduce. I'll just go through a little report before we go to our main future, because taxation is an indispensable tool for government. Government needs taxes. Government needs taxes. Whether they now use it for the people or not is different. But indeed, government needs taxes. Those of us who go to church or who are religious or believe in religious activism knows that along the line too we pay what we call tithe. And of course, I guess zakat in the other realm and some other traditions too. So there's that obligation you have to your community, to your state. That is not sine qua non. It is non-negotiable. But what and how it's been done is what we look at. And that's the whole essence and the introduction of today's program. But be that as it may, I will let us go, hear the mini future, introduce our guest, then we'll get cracking. Don't go away. Tell your people, Voters Forum, don't come again. No? We are there, Gidigba. Today's topic is interesting. And we have an interesting guest too, who is going to tear the tail for your understanding. Don't go away. Some of you followed what happened in the Red Chambers. The Red Chambers is that of the Senate. What happened there? Maybe because of this, we'll have a second look next week by the grace of God at what happened in the Green Chambers, that's the House of Representatives. But we'll deal with the Red Chamber. Maybe that's why I even putting on a red tie. I don't know, but because we are looking at the Red Chambers today. The correspondent, I want to thank the report as compiled by our producer, Teslim Ajayi. He did a great job. It's a great one. And I like one statement that was made, that this new tax reform wants to bring about simplicity, equity, and fairness. And you saw what Sarah Kediskin was saying on the floor of the chambers, that no. Enough is enough of this cheating. That day in the oil creeks, I've been there. You see poverty in the midst of riches. This is where the golden egg is laid, but they are not living that life. Anyway, this is just introduction. And what are we discussing today? We want to look at the 4 bills. I'll just name them, then of course our guests will come up. The 4 bills are the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill, the Nigerian Tax Bill, and the Joint Revenue Establishment Bill. And of course, all these bills are created to enhance a comprehensive tax regime that will make life easy for everyone. I have gone through, and of course along the line we'll be discussing it. But for now, I want to introduce our guest. He is no other person than Mr. Victor Anya. He's a great Nigerian and a great public analyst. You welcome, political analyst, back by that matter. You are welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me.
You're welcome.
I'm grateful.
You've had the hue and cry, and you've seen the action where it was taking place. Yes. We call it this in politics. I did political science too. We call it the center of the center. Yes. Please, can you just feed it on with your own idea?
Yes, it's a long-awaited reforms as regard the tax system in this country. Because I'm one person that have questioned the kind of tax system we have. Even before we get to the bills that have been sent to the National Assembly, as presented by Mr. Taiwo Oyodele, who is heading the tax reform system. When you go to the streets and market, you find out that a poor woman that is selling pure water, in the morning she's forced to pay like 100 naira. In the afternoon she's forced to pay 100 naira. In the evening she does the same thing.
Yes.
At the end of the day, if you want to
don't go too far. Don't go too far. You know, I'm a street man.
Yes.
The Okada people.
Yes.
The Agbero,
the tricycle drivers.
The tricycle drivers.
Each of them pay as much as 4,000 daily. And when you accumulate that, it translates to about 90,000 naira per month. But if such a poor man wants to send his child to school, they will request for tax certificate. He has nothing to provide.
That's double taxation.
And thereby he's denied of putting his child into the school because he's considered as somebody that is not paying tax. Whereas he's paying tax much more than some people in the government sector, because there's no bank worker that pays as much as 90,000 naira a month, according to the pay as you earn policy. It is not so. So if we use this tax system to reform the system, that okay, at the end of the month, you, a poor woman that is selling pure water, just go to the bank, pay 100 naira, and you are sanctified, you are given a certificate. By the time you want to send your child to school, you have tax certificate to present. The tricycle driver will get the same thing. But today, with the system that we run, those people are classified as people that don't pay tax. But they are paying much more people who are employed. That is the issue. Then you talk about, look at what we have here now. The contributions of each of the states among the 36 states in this federation. As out of August, Bayelsa contributed 7.2 billion naira to the national treasury. But he got only 5.5 billion. Because of the sharing system. The sharing system is that the current system we are using is that equality, you will get 50%. Then you talk about population, and this is why we don't get genuine census figure in Nigeria. Right from 1959, our census have always been falsified because it's tied to revenue allocation, not generation.
As you went there, sorry. As you went there, let us look at 2 or 3 other states who contributed less in the revenue into the purse, and we are giving far more than 10 times of what they contributed.
Yes, look at Zamfara, for instance. Contributed just 423 million, but he got 5.65 billion.
They contributed less than
a billion.
Not more than a billion. Not less than a billion. Let me stress it. 4.36, 4.32 is less than half a billion. Not less than
at the end of the day, that state got 6.65 billion.
They got 6.6. Let's remove the 6 billion. The 6.6 that is on top, they did contribute up to that 6.6. Is that fairness?
It is not fair.
Is that equitable?
That is why there is no competition. And any system where there is no competition, in revenue generation, there will be no creativity. And that is why you find out that in Nigeria,
people are working. What is that?
Babu they work. Monkey they work, babu
the shop.
That is the situation. And this task bill needs to correct that, and that is why it is appreciated that it should be so. But I have a quarry. I know we just started. Because, you know, I don't hide my feeling. I have a quarry with the various bills. Some of them are bigots. In the sense that they talked about this task bill we address, instead of just addressing. For instance, this multiple taxation we are talking, I would have expected that because we are talking about 3 multiple tax systems, they would have just addressed it that when the bill is accepted to pass into law and signed by the president, we are not going to pay only this. It's not there in the bill, because I've gone through gone through there. They didn't specify that those who have been paying 3 taxes before, after the bill has been accepted by the president, you will only pay this. You only pay this. You only pay. They didn't put it there. I know you have gone through it. I've gone through it. They didn't specify. They should have specified that. But based on this bill, henceforth, if it is been passed into law and accepted by the president, you will pay only this. Because if this bill has been passed now, that means they will return it to the National Assembly.
Yes.
Which is not good.
Yes.
They would have just specified. You that have been paying these 3 bills,
Yes.
after it has been passed into law, you are no longer going to pay 3 bills. You are going to pay only this, pay this, pay this.
Yes.
I didn't say it there.
Yes, that's it. And just as a way of information, and to our people who are watching us, the bill has been withdrawn or suspended debate on it so that they will go and work on it by the two houses of the National Assembly. And of course, I heard Oyedele, Taiwo Oyedele in a platform saying that indeed they are going to look at it, addressing the concern you just raised, so that you see there will not be clash, and there will not be ambiguity, of course, and there will not be confusion. The bill is supposed to bring about some clarity into the tax system. So to that extent, I appreciate your concern, and I know that they are watching us.
Yes, they are.
Redress it, because this is a very interesting thing. It's a fundamental thing, because people like us will ensure that not only will they collect the money from the tax, will ensure that everybody who is taxable pays money, because it's for our own betterment.
Yes.
You go to other countries of the world, nobody gets outside this tax net.
Regime, yeah.
Everybody, no matter what, the small laborer, the big businessman, they all pay their taxes. Just
according to their power,
and their strength and income. And everybody takes it and allows it. But this one, you can be sure, trust us and trust me, we will ensure that, yes, once this bill is passed and all the corrections are made, people like us will ensure that we make sure that not only are the taxes paid, but
they should be properly used to.
That's where we are going. We must, we synergize with other NGOs that are involved in watching and ensuring that the budget is well implemented, to ensuring that every penny that is collected from the taxpayer is well spent, not frivolously.
Yes.
And that's where we are going. Now that we have looked at that issue, then let us look, what is this issue of this principle that they use in giving out or sharing this income from the government? They talk about equity, they talk about population. They talk about derivation. What do they mean by that? Because
yes,
I don't know.
The equality is that all the states supposed to be equal as a federative unit.
Yes.
That is one.
Yes.
Then the second one, population. That as many population as the population you have, you get according to the population you have.
Okay.
And as I've said before, that is why we don't get true census figure. Okay. Because of this sharing formula that is accruable based on the population, whether you are contributing or not, you get more than those states that are producing something that are contributing more based on the population. So if they want to conduct census now, they falsify the figure in order to get more figure than the genuine figure that we're supposed to get, because census are tied to development. If you don't have true census figure, there cannot be meaningful development, because if you falsify the figure of the population, say you have 20 million people in a particular area, whereas you have only 2. How do you plan for that? And because revenue and money is limited all over the world, you plan based on the population. But if it is falsified that a particular state has 20 million when it doesn't have 20 million population, how are you going to plan for that population? That is why it is very wrong. In other jurisdictions, they base their revenue distribution on generation, and that is what motivates people to become creative. Like in US, California has crude oil. It is the state of California that controls it and paid a fraction of it to the federal government. But in the case of Nigeria, it is not so. We have a structure that says that the states own the land, but what is in the land belongs to the federal government. And that is why the governors are not producing much. But I don't blame them, because what they have in the land is being controlled by the federal government. They don't have power to mine it. And some people will say that the governors are not creative. And I ask them, how creative the federal government? Is not only oil money they are depending on? And you have taken it from there. The state that have solid mineral, like gold, silver, all these things, the state cannot mine them and generate revenue. And again, apart from that, collection of VAT is being done by the federal government through the Federal Inland Revenue Service. After the federal government has collected its own, the state, what do you expect them to collect?
Meanwhile, this VAT is generated in these various states.
It's generated in
Look
the
at the
various
trouble
states.
of, let us look at Lagos State.
Yes.
Lagos State is contributing 246 billion naira.
Yes.
246 billion.
At the end
naira.
of the day, they got only 4.22 billion. That is not a good system.
So they generated 246.
Yes.
And they gave them the
40
40
billion.
No, they gave them 40 billion.
Yes.
And removed 400. The 200. They removed 200 billion and start sharing to those who are not
doing nothing, who are not contributing anything.
That will not encourage.
That cannot be competitive. That cannot promote competition. When we were in,
but the argument of some of these governors, particularly the northern governors, and some of them in the southeast and so on, is that those who come to work in their places, and most of the corporate organizations have their headquarters in Lagos, and that they pay their VAT and their taxes both for their workers to Lagos state government. Can that be sustained?
To some extent, it can be sustained, and that is why we are talking about this reform. Okay. For instance, I am from the Niger Delta area.
Okay.
As I've said in our previous program,
yes.
My father used to have ponds.
Yes. Fish
and a fish pond, and
yes.
in those days when we bathe one, it could last us for about 6 months. Yes. We will not go to the market to buy fish, nor buy meat. But all those ponds are being destroyed by OSPs. And I'm strongly in Lagos. No compensation. All the oil companies, they have their headquarters in Lagos. They pay their taxes here. They employ in Lagos. But when they want to rubbish the system, they will say, the people there don't have education. I'm not allowed. There is no state that do not have education.
So there is some good reason in
There's a good reason. But the greatest thing is this.
Yes.
I want total restructuring.
Yes.
This one is just window dressing.
Yes.
It's good to some extent, but it's just window dressing. What we need is total fiscal federation, whereby we adopt the 1963 Constitution. That 1963 Constitution empowered the regions there, the three regions before Midwest was created in 1963 from the Western region. At that point, the Western region was making money through cocoa, the north, groundnut and cotton. The south is there, palm oil, and part of Bendel State there, because we have palm oil
and,
too,
and rubber.
So at that time they were
sorry. They say good old days. Is it possible we'll come back there?
It's possible if you are willing. It's possible.
I guess maybe it's possible before our own generation dies. Because I was with some young guys the other day.
Yes.
I was asking them some questions. I forgot that they are not my age mates. And they were looking like me, that what this man saying? I was talking about OFN. I was talking about, what was it other one?
Operation Feed the Nation.
Operation Feed the Nation.
And
Green
Revolution.
Green Revolution. And they were looking at me.
Yeah.
I said, I took part in it. I showed them my leg, that in the process of cutting, that I had to cut my leg and so on. They were looking at me. That's your time, Jerry. Yeah. But again, that's where dignity of labor is.
Yes.
That's why we can bring Nigeria to those good old days.
Yes.
I grew up to know not the story. I knew the groundnut pyramid in Kano.
Yes. So
can it come back again?
It can come back. It can come back if we want a competitive system.
System. We'll come back, please. Yeah. Let them go away. We want to go for a short break. When we come back, then definitely we'll go on the home stretch. And of course, we'll look at this competitive system and how it can help Nigeria. Not that we're practicing a prodigal son economy.
Just
share.
Without contributing.
My papa don't do work. Like this one now, just a share. No work. Then at the end of the day, that thing that you are sharing will dry up.
It will dry up. Once it dries up, what happens?
What happens? The answer will be when we come back. Don't go away. I hope you enjoy the first leg. The second leg promises to be interesting. And just as we were discussing before we came back,
yes,
we're looking at the proposed new sharing formula.
Yes.
And that proposed new sharing formula is talking about equality.
Yeah.
On the
yes,
of 20%.
equality 20%, population 20%, derivation 60%.
What does it mean?
Yes, that means that they will look at the equality of the states, the federative unit, that they are equal in this aspect. They will share a portion by 20%. Everybody will get 20%. Then when you look at population, based on your population, whether it is true or not, as far it has been declared that you have it based on census, whether it is falsified or not, you get 20%. Then derivation is 60%, which is fair to some extent. But as I have said before we went on break, we need total fiscal federation, like it was practiced in 1963, that gave birth to massive competition among the regions at that time. You find out that when the University of Ibadan came up, the University of Ife came up, Ahmadu Bello built his own, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, that was hard. Western radio, Western Nigeria radio came up. The North came up with their own, and in the East, the same thing. You had a brewery all over the places. So there was competition. Why was it so? Because the regions they were collected.
Industrial estates were being set up.
We have been set up. What was the crime rate? What was the crime rate at that time? The crime rate was limited. You could travel throughout the night. If your car broke down the road, you will have people who come and help you than what we have today, that you are being chased to be kidnapped because there are no jobs. When there are jobs all over the world, the principle of jobs and criminality as related is that when there are no jobs, most people will go into crime. Because when you wake up in the morning and you are the worms in your stomach and asking you to feed them and there is no food, it will push you to go and commit crime. That is the truth. But people who don't want to hear the truth, they don't want to, they will not listen. Look at Ikeja, look at Ilupeju, all the factories are shut down. In those states before, we used to have Okada Air, we used to have Okada Brewery, we used to have all those things. All of them have
palm oil industry.
That is it.
So Okwila cement factory.
Delta Glass was there before.
All these things are things that I know. No,
yes, even in my local government area, Ogele North, there was one man they call Olori. He had a factory, a brewery there, where they produce lager beer and all those.
One time I've forgotten the name.
Those score, all those ones for Hebrew had. The distance between Ogele Meta and Agbara where he came, and from that area, it's not much, not up to 2 kilometers.
All those factories.
Those ones were providing jobs. So the youth had no basis to go into crime when they had jobs to do. So when we have true federalism as it was done there, whereby we implemented the 1963 constitution, the region there, they had their own ambassador. I think you remember. They had their own ministers. They had their constitution. Today it is only the federal government that have all these things. So the policies of the federal government affect the states. At that time, the regions were even lending money to the federal government, and Nigeria itself lent money to the World Bank. I have the record with me. Nigeria lent money to the Caribbeans, Japan, Jamaica, and other states within that place. About $4 billion at that time in the early 70s. Why was it so? Because there was production. There was production and there was competition. So if you don't work, you will not eat. So sharing formula whereby you don't, for instance, now if my father was to be alive and as he had us, it's okay. Whether you work, you don't work, at the end of the month, take 2 billion. I will not work now. I will just be sleeping. Why should I work when I have easy money to you? That is what is happening today. So nobody is saying that something should not be shared. Every state has something to mind, to contribute, that will give them something to empower their citizens. And once that happens, when the groundnut pyramid springs up, when rubber springs up, when cocoa springs up, for instance, now, to get a beverage now is a problem. cocoa industry here used to employ a lot of people.
That's history now.
Used to employ a lot of people. All the machinery are rotting away.
They are even turned into churches.
Is that how it's supposed to be?
For some private people
so,
who import.
Yes.
Import.
They import. Is that how it's supposed to? So the bill is not to punish anybody.
There is this issue now that some people have raised that, look, government will know the way it is. It's even sweet to introduce a new policy, but what of the implementation?
Yes.
What of the administrative procedures and the logistics behind it and bureaucracy?
Yes.
Is this something, because the way I've gone through the bill is still maybe they want to dress an old system in a new cloth. It's not as if it's good. We have not seen how it's going to address the bureaucratic bottlenecks that will come up. Is there a way that can be done?
There is a way. That is why we have a civil society organization and the National Assembly. We need to continue to speak as we are speaking in the studio today. Let us not take sides, say because my brother is here, my sister is here. For that reason, when you see a policy or something that is going wrong, you keep quiet. No. The society that are progressive, it is the citizen when they see a policy that is wrong, they rise up and speak against it, either by way of peaceful protest or by condemning it. It is not a crime for citizens to protest. Let us make it clear. It is not a crime for citizens to protest. It is a tool all over the world to checkmate bad government, the excesses of government. And one thing we need to talk about too is the issue of tax. Somebody can be prosecuted, a citizen can be prosecuted for not paying tax. But the government, if the government fails to use the tax judiciously, the government cannot be taken to court. I think that portion of the constitution must be amended. It should be justiciable that, oh, we have paid our tax. What happened to the money? Why are you using the money frivolously?
No, don't worry. I'll just use this opportunity. Thank you for raising this up. I'll use this opportunity to inform you that there is a law called the Freedom of Information Act, through which anybody who is aggrieved or who wants to know government activities, particularly as it relates to using resources of the state, I will ask under section 4 or 24, I can't remember the section now, wherein you ask them to give you information on how your money has been spent. And you know that there is a particular civil society organization that does something like that in the public domain. So that one, no issue. In fact, now that really this regime is coming up, it will even put government on the satellite now that they must do. So this one will not, there will be, I can assure you that there are going to be a lot of civil servants that will be going to jail.
That will be fine. Because
it is the civil servants that are really involved in dealing with all these finances, using this, the various political office holders as cover-ups, because the political office holder does not know anything. It is the civil servants that will show them and
what
tell
and
them
what to do.
And of course, that is where we are coming up. And we are going to ensure that there is some element of sanity in the tax regime, this new tax regime. And that's why some of us, we want to see that there is sanity in it totally, and that's why we propose and we support the looking at it very well. The members of the civil society will be going to the National Assembly in the next few weeks to add to put in their own contribution in this thing, so that it will be a better thing for everyone. You know, there is a cliche that said that if you continue to do something in a wrong way and expect a good result, it's not going to work.
Yeah, that is insanity as they describe it.
So we are going to contribute to making this system work now for the betterment of everyone. And that's why I want to ask now, maybe in closing, that what will be the responsibility of government in this regard? Because, like, okay, let me quickly read section 75(1) or clause 75(1) of the proposed tax administration bill. This gives the president unlimited powers to exempt some people from income tax, or even companies, or even private individuals. I like the way I'm looking at your body language is okay. Yes. Would that not bring in elements of?
Yes, I think that
elements of
that portion should
be
that portion should be expunged.
I like that one.
Yeah, the president should not have power
Not the president.
Not the president.
He shouldn't have power to exempt.
No. It's a system.
Nobody should even be exempted.
Yes,
if they want to give tax holiday, we know that.
Yes.
If they want to give people moratorium that yes, you are just starting, that will give you 6 years.
Yes.
To
and it must be worked out by the tax body and the finance, the Ministry of Finance. Because why?
And it must be a transparent issue.
Yes.
Not something that is shredded.
For instance, a new company is coming in. Because of the benefit the country will have, we can say, okay, we are giving you tax rebate for a year or two, so that it can be able to stabilize.
Not an old company.
Not an old company, because it's just coming in. And it's coming in, it's going to grapple with electricity. You know, we don't have public power supply. Roads, drainages and all that. It's going to buy a generator. Is going to buy diesel at 1,000 of fraction. That's why they give tax rebate in some system, so that the new company can stabilize. Because once the company stabilizes, it's going to provide job to the citizen.
Yes.
But not an old company that has made money. You are giving tax rebate to that company because you have a personal gain you are going to get from it. No.
Yes. Then of course, small businesses, we've discussed it. We see the way they muzzle small businesses.
Yes.
I, as a lawyer, have had cause to deal with some government institutions, fight them, and of course, quickly some of them they withdrew. In particular instance, I don't want to mention the environment and all. These are small business, you know. It's in Lagos anyway. You know, there will be shops lined up in front of a house, and of course, the local government will come and they begin to issue notices, demand notices for them to go and pay taxes. And of course, if they fail to pay, they go and seal up the shops. And of course, the notices are even just maybe 2 days notice and so on. And in some cases, these shops are in the corner. And they did it for about 10 of them. One way or the other, they came to our chambers to brief us. And we wrote the local government that what is the essence of this, quoting the relevant law and section to them. And in fairness, as soon as we did that, they beat a retreat. But in some cases, it's not like that. Like the people you explained in the initial, when we started, the ice-star seller, the hawker on the street, the Marwa people, know that again, I'm loyal to some Marwa people and all these low-class people too. And I know there are many, but these ones that come, we help them out. But there are many of them that are out. Is there a way that this law can look into that and of course do a general exemption or even give a relief to them?
Yeah, that was why I said that the bills are ambiguous to some extent, that they did not harmonize the different taxes. As I have said before, you say this person is paying 3 taxes. Now, after the assent of the president, they will now pay only these taxes. Let it be clear. They didn't state it there. Then there was a video I saw of a woman that was selling all these their abacha. They means vegetable and all those things. Because the woman could not pay, she just came to the market, she came with empty hands. She had not sold anything. The people who are collecting revenue in the local government area, I don't know the local government area, they pour away whatever she was selling. I was pained. He poured in everything and say, are you going to get the 100 naira now? This thing that this lady is selling, what about 10,000? Because of 2,000, you threw it away.
Please,
I don't understand.
My people, our people out there. You see, injustice against one is injustice against all. Please, when you see an act of injustice committed against somebody, just throw it on the social media. You don't need to move. Because what my brother just painted now is very gory, it's very painful. Because I know that that woman is trying to eke a living. And if care is not taken, she will have 4 or 5 children that she's taking care of. And of course, even if the man is, for someone like that, then you know that the husband too is downtrodden.
Yes.
And for them to be struggling that way, and somebody just because of anger or whatever, threw that thing away. So how are they going to start? Which means that she has to go back again, get some money, borrow some money, and then get back online. Please, I beg of you, whenever you see such things, and I know, and no doubt, it's quickly recorded, such things are quickly recorded, just put it on the social media, and you can be sure that one way or the other, some of us who are fighting for the people will see it and will take it up. Because we cannot continue to bring injustice on our people who are suffering. Those who are making it are making it. So we cannot put those who are suffering in pain. Please, I beg of you. Thank you so much for this information.
Yeah, so I was paying when I saw it, I said, because of 200 naira, you threw the worth of goods of about 10,000 to 50,000. It's not justifiable. If you had allowed the woman to sell, or sometimes you can come back and collect it.
She's not a stranger
in
to
that
the market.
place.
Because
she was just coming. She was begging, according to the report. I was not there. Yes.
Sorry, once in a while I go to the market. I mean, you know, we people sniffing around looking for in our duty, correcting information and news. And of course, I saw situations like that. You see them, they will hold them. The guys sometimes are very hefty. Yes. And of course, most of these people they are dealing with are either
very fragile because they don't eat well like myself. You know, a bag of rice now is 120,000.
Your face is looking, you are eating well.
No, it's because I have oily face.
So once in a while I intervene that leave them now. Should be una be customers now. You'll see her again or you'll see him again in the next few hours going around, because they always oscillate anyway. Even sometimes there are some people who are indeed shop owners who have stores. You see them doing that to them. Can you just give them some advice?
Yes, I want to appeal to them. We are fellow Nigerians. Even if those people are not Nigerians, they are human beings. And it is the same human beings. Yeah, they are human beings. The same blood that flows in you that flows in them. That they are foreigners or they are not your ethnic member does not make them to be less human beings. So let us treat people with human face, because the world has become a global village. Whatever you do here is beamed across the world because of the smartphone. The smartphone has made the world a global village that nothing is hidden under the sun. So be kind to people, because as you are treating somebody here, it can boomerang tomorrow. It can turn around to become your own brother that will be maltreated.
To confirm what you just said, don't forget the Arab Spring that started in Algeria started as a result of the maltreatment of
a young boy who was selling vegetable.
So our people, a word is enough for the wise. We are all human beings. It does not matter where we come from. I guess it was Peter Touch.
Yes, that said so. Sang it.
We are all human beings wherever you come from. Those of you that have been given the opportunity to do things, to exert power, to exert authority, do this with human face. As our guests have said this some few minutes ago, we need to treat ourselves as human beings. It does not matter where we come from. And I know that everything will come out fine. Everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. Till next week, when we meet again, I want to thank our guest.
Thank you so much,
Mr. Victor Anyan. You did a great job.
Thank God.
Thank you for the way you broke it down. I hope that we'll be able to. I'm trying to get Mr. Oyedele. I hope somebody will help us tell him that we are trying to get across to him. That's Taiwo Oyedele, the taxman, to come on air to discuss further, to explain one or two things. You know, we don't know anything. We are just guessing.
We are just analyzing.
He is the expert. So I hope he will be able to come. We'll try and see if we can get him next week. And I hope that if you have a chance to, we may be together next week, so that we'll give some clarity for the understanding of everybody. And of course, maybe the Green Chamber too, we'll be able to get a snippet from them. Then we'll add everything together and make a sense of it. Till next week then, it's me, Wale Ogunade, your guest on this program, Voters Forum. Don't do anything against the law. Cheers.